Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
So you've probably been seeing, get it, a lot of this guy's name floating about this week as everyone speculates whether or not former WWE star, current Charlotte Flair boo Andrade is going to do any wrestling this weekend. But that is not the only reason the star has been making headlines this week. As one of a long line of completely wasted talents within WWE, Andrade has a bit of a bee in his bonnet about the company having eyes bigger than their bellies when it comes to gobbling up wrestlers when they have no intention of using or enjoying them. This all spins out of WWE President and Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan appearing on the Colin Cowherd podcast saying the company is hyper-focused on expanding into Latin America and specifically Mexico. He said that two smaller companies currently run in Mexico, but if they could add the WWE effect to one of those promotions, then it could find great success with homegrown stars and a free-to-air TV product. He did then say that they aren't looking to buy a promotion, but perhaps might start something from scratch, which could be like an NXT Mexico or WWE's very own Lucha Libre promotion. Now, all of this talk drew Andrade out of La Sombra to say, more talent for sitting in the locker room. I mean, keep it tranquilo, mate. I know that I've not used one single bit of that Spanish correctly, but I think with all the talk of Andrade having a no-compete clause kind of leads me to think that Andrade might have been planning to return to Mexico to perform, which I think WWE doesn't really see as direct competition. So then it must be scary for him then to kind of get out of this deal that he didn't like and is lining up something good in Mexico, and then WWE's like, we're gonna buy a Lucha Libre. Moving on, he's the man who birthed NXT into the world, watched it grow and is immensely proud of it. But kind of like a dad watching a Sunday football game from the sideline, he really wants to get involved. We're obviously talking about poor beleaguered Paul from the back office, aka Triple H, aka Sledge and Spray, who has just finished up production on 2 nights of Takeover Magic. A bit more on that in a bit, but has also been doing the rounds chatting to media this week. One interesting topic that was touched on ESPN Sports Nation with Ada Okal was whether or not he'd take the old bike out for one last spin on his way to one final match. Tripp said that overall it isn't a big deal to him, but said that Ric Flair had been trying to talk him round to the idea of it. He said, I guess maybe I'll regret that one day. I don't know, because Flair tells me you'll regret it, you'll regret it. Maybe if I hadn't found the other side of that, the NXT side of it, the production side of it that I enjoy so much, maybe I would feel differently about it. Despite that though, he went on to say that he would love one final match and even said that selfishly, he would like to face AJ Styles, who has apparently been pestering him for a match too. And then he said he'd be happy having his final match not at WrestleMania. This is the guy who books himself a 40-minute epic with a 10-minute entrance most years, and he doesn't want to do his final thing at WrestleMania. Bull! He said though, if I was to say, would I like to do one more match? Yes. The WrestleMania factor is less a factor to me than anything else. He then name-dropped Madison Square Garden, Allstate Arena, Staples Center, the O2 in London, and all of Japan, amongst other places he'd like to hold his final bout. There'd be something quite poetic if he did his final bout in NXT though. Before we move on, we just need to thank Ronald Coleman, baby, and no one names their kid this anymore, Larry, for their support on Patreon. Thanks guys. Now in news I knew nothing about this morning and still have a very vague grasp on now, where is Cameron Grimes when I need him? WWE are gearing up to release their first ever non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. Intense research, i.e. Googling, tells me that NFTs are a way of making endlessly duplicatable digital assets one of a kind by creating a kind of digital certificate of ownership that can be bought and sold. You know what is non-fungible? That explanation, there's no fun in it. There's no way of making it fun, I tried. Anyway, WWE are using this to sell unique artwork commemorating The Undertaker's career from tomorrow, and the most expensive of these digital works is being auctioned with a staggering starting bid of $10,000. This also comes with a WrestleMania 38 trip and a pallbearer urn and some other stuff, and probably a letter from your bank saying you got more money than sense. On the cheaper end of the scale, if you fancy it, are artworks at the fixed price of $1,000 and $100, and hopefully understanding what it is you've bought. Much easier to understand is the return of Vice's critically acclaimed, most successful documentary series, Dark Side of the Ring, which is coming back for a 14-episode season on May the 6th. Now, a teaser trailer for the series dropped yesterday and teased new episodes on Ultimate Warrior, Dynamite Kid, Brian Pillman, Nick Gage, Grizzly Smith, and WCW and NJPW's Collision in Korea. It also teased some of the cast for the season with Chris Jericho, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jon Moxley, Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, David Arquette, and Warrior's ex-wife Sherry Teree sat down for interviews. Now, the full announcement for the series and cast lands later this month, so look out for that. Also keep your eyes peeled. Not that peeled, 2K20! Also watch out for an announcement from 2K Games over WrestleMania weekend. Now, the much maligned game makers who beefed the series so hard with 2K20 have been in exile for over a year now, working out how to, you know, make a game that we got right in the year 2000. Now, and there goes all of our brand partnership opportunities. Now, the official 2K20 Twitter account tweeted saying, #WWE 2K fans, also known as masochists, you're going to want to tune in to #WrestleMania. And there was a short video teasing some sort of announcement about the continuation of the series that's going to air during the show. It'll be interesting to see what they do here though, because nothing about 2K20's marketing showed you how buggy a mess it was going to be when the final thing was actually in people's hands. So a flashy, well-produced trailer might not necessarily regain the goodwill of some game fans. And by some game fans, I mean me, who suffered through so much of that horse on Twitch. Show me it working, 2K. Show me it working in people's hands without cheating. On to happier news this week as the Wednesday Night War drew to a close. Yes, the Treaty of Versailles has been signed and NXT is packing up its troubles in its old kit bag and heading off to Tuesdays. But they did get a few shots in before they left, and all it took was a takeover. The first night of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver drew in more viewers than AEW for the first time in yonks. 768,000 of the buggers tuned in to watch Raquel Gonzalez triumph over Io Shirai and Tommy Champs and Walter slap 7 colors of red onto one another. While AEW Dynamite was down to 688,000 average viewers for the Bucks' big heel turn to close the show. I think it's also worth noting here that Takeover was also broadcast on Peacock, so the total views are likely way higher than those tracked here. But AEW did manage to stay ahead in the 18-49 demo though, garnering a 0.38 over NXT's 0.24, and from next week has Wednesday nights all to itself. But what happened on NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 2, I hear you ask? Well, Tempest is here to tell you all about it with his review right after this incredibly short break. If you don't get an advert in the break. If you get an advert, it might be slightly longer, 5 seconds maybe.
NXT Takeover. What's going on, WrestleTalk friends and fans? It's your buddy, it's your pal Tempest the Wrestler here, back 2 days in a row on the WrestleTalk news with a review of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 2. In about 5 minutes. Now first we had the late addition to the pre-show as Breezango took on Killian Dane and Drake Maverick for a shot at MSK and the NXT Tag Team titles. While there was really nothing wrong with this match, it didn't feel like there was really anything right with it either. I described it during our live reactions as a house show opener, where 2 comedy teams just kind of come together, have a fun match, but nothing really gets your gears going. Ultimately, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick were able to get the win as Dane powerbombed Maverick onto Fandango for the pin. Of course, the show opened with a performance from Poppy, which featured a lot of just loud noises. If you like Screamo, this was probably your bag, but meh. Now the main card opened with the NXT Cruiserweight Unification ladder match between Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin. This was another really good ladder match as both guys were kind of playing the heel role, which worked sometimes and didn't really work other times. There were a bunch of creative spots, but Jordan Devlin appeared to have the match won before Legado del Fantasma came in to cost him the match. Santos Escobar would eventually push him through a ladder that was set up in the corner before capturing the titles, becoming the new undisputed Cruiserweight champion. But what really didn't work for me was after the match, Escobar celebrated with his son, gave him a title in his mask. Like, am I supposed to boo this man and his toddler child? Like, what? Moving on, we had the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match as Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defended the title against The Way, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell. This was another match that just kind of felt like it was there. On yesterday's review, I said that every match on NXT TakeOver Night 1 felt different, and therefore the show was much easier to handle. This time I didn't really feel that way, and this match in particular just kind of felt like another match on the card. Again, nothing was wrong with it, like they didn't mess anything up and there wasn't any bad pacing, but it just felt like they never got out of second gear. In the end, Ember Moon hit a double eclipse on both members of the Way before Shotzi Blackheart hit a big senton for the win. Again, this was fine, but just kind of like, meh. Then we got another championship match as Johnny Gargano defended his NXT North American Championship against the winner of the Gauntlet Eliminator match, Bronson Reed. This match was a little bit slow going in the beginning, but this was just so much fun by the end. Bronson Reed was playing the perfect big man, taking Johnny Gargano's spear from the outside and selling it, but making it known that Johnny Gargano essentially speared a brick wall. The last 5 to 10 minutes of this match was really something, as everyone wanted Bronson Reed to capture the title, but ultimately it was Johnny Gargano who hit 2 inside-out DDTs in a row to retain the belt. Now this is where I want to bring up perhaps my favorite part of the whole show: the intangibles. See, throughout the show, they would introduce the graphics that came on when they were introducing the participants in the match, and they had intangibles. And really, it seemed like you could just pick words out of a hat to describe some of these guys. Bronson Reed, agile. What? Yeah, let's take a look at all the agile wrestlers in history. Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan, Bronson Reed. But moving on, the NXT Championship was again on the line as Finn Balor faced Karrion Kross. Now this match was designed to build Karrion Kross as the biggest monster in NXT, while also giving Finn Balor enough offense to come across as a credible champion. Balor worked over Kross's previously injured shoulder before Kross was eventually able to just essentially power out of a submission move and hit a number of dominant strikes to ultimately get the win. Karrion Kross, 2-time NXT champion. Karrion Kross is a fantastic character. He has a great look, a fantastic entrance, but the in-ring work isn't quite there yet. Hey, that's what NXT is for. Hopefully by the end of his run, he has improved in the ring a little bit because he has all the tools to be a major star on the main roster. And that leads us to the main event, the unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. First off, their new music. Don't like it. It's really generic. I know CFO $sign is not with the company anymore, but they've got to find someone who can make better music than generic theme number 4 and generic theme number 9. Things were pretty good for the first half of this match, I would say, but as soon as they both set up chairs and had a dueling strike sequence, from that point on, this was like the match of the year. They fought on the entrance ramp as Kyle had Cole in a guillotine before Cole just slammed him through the stage before kicking out a panel to get him out. Fantastic stuff. Back at ringside, Cole hit the brainbuster on the steps, and Kyle O'Reilly had the best kick out I've ever seen. Just barely lifting his shoulder, not even kicking out, just lifting his shoulder off the mat at the count of 2. Kyle did fire up, eventually hitting a chain-wrapped knee drop on Adam Cole, who was lying on an upside-down chair. Tell me you've seen that before. Without the main event, this probably would have been about a 3 out of 5 show, but the main event was so fantastic, I'll bump it up to 4 out of 5. And that wraps it up for me for this week. I hope you enjoyed the NXT review. This will be now a weekly thing, as NXT has moved to Tuesday starting next week. I will be doing the NXT review on the WrestleTalk News every Wednesday, so make sure to check back for all your NXT content. And jam that jam.
Big Cass and Andrade to AEW. You can find out more about that by clicking the video on the right or the one below that to see a sneak peek of a potential new look for The Fiend. It is WrestleMania weekend, folks. Join us for the live reactions over on the WrestleTalk podcast channel, where I am going to be defending my Jam That Championship in Predictions War. That was the news. That was Lucha. I've been El Thakador. You jam that champion, jam that jam.